this may be really controversial, taboo, morbid to bring this up in my videos, but after recent events in my life, I feel like us as online teachers really need to think about these sort of things that could happen in our lives. Hello everyone, welcome to my channel, Teaching Online with Kelsey. My name is Kelsey and I created this channel to vlog about my life as a full-time online teacher and to help serve other teachers and parents in the online community as well. So please make sure it's not the last time that you see me by hitting that red subscription button and the bell down below to be notified of new videos every week. And to also give this video a thumbs up. It supports me and this channel. And before we get started, I do have a free all school starter guide. If you are curious about teaching on all school, that link is down below in the description box. And I also have written 2 Amazon books. I also have a Teachers Pay Teachers store and other links down below that help support my channel as well. And your support means everything to me. So let's go ahead and get started. So for the topic of this video is something that none of us as online teachers really think about. We don't want to think about it. It's hard to think about it. We don't want it to ever happen to us. But the reality, ever since I've started this full-time online teaching journey for myself, is that death happens. I lost both of my grandmas in 2021. I had one pass away in March, and then my other grandma who passed away in December of 2021. And unfortunately, it was about 6 days before Christmas that she had decided to pass. And with those types of realities that we, that happen to us in our lifetime, these types of things, they're going to happen. And as online teachers, where we do have freedom to teach at our own schedule, when these types of circumstances happen, you almost feel kind of stuck. And the thing is, I'm wanting to share this video with you now because, maybe for you, you have not experienced a loss with so close into your family that you would have to deal with the situation that you would not be able to teach your classes. And then whenever these situations do come to fruition, you feel like you don't know what to do with yourself in those moments. So I am sharing my personal experiences on what to do when you do have extenuating circumstances happen in your life that you would have to put a pause on your teaching business. Because both of my grandmas, I've known them in life growing up. They were both very important and special to me. So to have to cancel classes just so I can be with my family and that I could grieve and have that closure with their passing, that's important. And for you, I want you as an online teacher to be prepared whenever you have to deal with a loss or even a really extenuating circumstance where you would have to pause teaching to be with your family or to be with the person that would be critically ill or whatever the circumstance is. It would have to be extremely accidental, so it would have to be so extreme that you would have to cancel for whatever reason. And we all know the policy if we get sick. So, but I feel like for death is a little different. And something that I have learned from my personal experiences with learning of a loved one passing away is, you know, you are going to need that time to grieve. And especially if you were really close to them, you know, you need to grieve, and you need to grieve properly. You don't need to worry about your classes in that moment. So here's a situation. If you hear the news, so when I heard of my grandmother that passed away in December, she passed away on a Sunday. And I had scheduled out some classes and some camps for that week. And for OutSchool and AllSchool, I explained to them that my grandmother just passed away. You know, I'm going to have to cancel for the week. And usually, as long as it's within 24 hours of those classes starting, OutSchool, AllSchool, or whatever your respective platform is, should be able to honor your request and be able to help you cancel your class for that would start on Monday. So what OutSchool did was that they canceled the Monday classes for me, since there was a camp that started at 3. I had gotten the news of my grandmother passing around that time in the afternoon. It was within the 24 hours. So I explained to them that my grandmother passed away. I'm going to need to be with my family during this time. You know, could you cancel my classes? So they were able to honor the Monday classes. And if I had a camp, they would cancel that camp for the week. However, if you have any ongoing or other one-time classes or any other classes starting the following weeks that are over 24 hours before start time, unfortunately, you would have to be responsible for canceling those classes and refunding families and explaining to the families the situation at hand. Now, I would say 95% of the time when you break the news to family about a loved one passing away or extenuating circumstances of any sort, or if you are ill, most families are usually understanding of the situation at hand. I know for my grandmother that passed away in December, I had many of my families that said, take all the time that you need off to grieve, to rest, whatever you need to do. Go ahead and take care of that. There was one parent that was not happy that I had to cancel a class for a funeral and to be with my family during that time. It was for my other grandma that passed away in March. But just know that if sometimes it happens where not every person, every family that you communicate news to is going to be, you know, that they're going to be understanding or they're going to be compassionate of the situation. Just know, like, you could run into that. And the best way that I've just interpreted that situation is, you know, okay, you know, you have the right to feel that way. I understand your frustration, and I hope you can find another teacher that can best meet your needs. So it's almost like a let it go mentality, because you're grieving, you're going through all this trouble. You know, the last thing that you need to deal with is an unhappy parent, you know, and it's almost sort of a thinking like, well, you know, I don't really want your money if you're going to cause me trouble anyways. So consider it a bullet dodged, you might say, that you wouldn't have to worry about this parent if you have a family member pass away. So consider it a blessing that you didn't have to end up with a negative review, or that a parent that's like, I want a refund and blah, blah, blah. So consider it a blessing that you didn't even have to deal with this parent. You know, if it was gone normally and you didn't have a loved one pass away and you did teach the class. Now, another thing that is like even more morbid, even more taboo, something that most of us that are kind of in our prime for online teaching do not want to foresee happening. God forbid this happens to us. Although we are not promised tomorrow, friends. What do you do if you pass away? You, the teacher, pass away. And my best advice is to make sure that you have at least 3 people, one of them being your spouse or your partner, and you have 2 other people that could be a teacher colleague that you communicate with and you rely on or seek advice, and then another friend. It could be outside of online teaching or just someone you're really close to, or siblings, parents, whatever you feel would be comfortable. Of course, you can choose more people if for some reason your spouse, partner, teacher, friend, whatever the situation is not able to help you on your behalf. You can always have more people, but the reason I say selecting at least 3 people is because one of those 3 people are going to be able to help you communicate with your respective platforms that you teach on or that you associate yourself with to help break the news to them. Now, whether these platforms, cancel all of your classes on your behalf, or if your loved one has to cancel all the classes, I'm not 100% sure. I would assume, because if you pass away, that, OutSchool would do it for you, or allschool, or whatever platform you're on. I'm assuming they would be willing to do that, since, you're obviously not going to be in a state to cancel the classes for yourself. But if for some reason they tell your loved one or whoever your designated person is that they would have to cancel the classes, it's best to have templates that they can copy and paste to message to families, to refund families, and to just let them know the situation at hand. So again, we're not promised tomorrow, so it's good to go ahead and try to have those templates ready to go for your loved ones to use and to communicate with those platforms to see what those next steps are going to be. So that way, there's not going to be students showing up with no teacher, and that, there's obviously not going to be any kind of auto scheduling happening, whatever the situation is, or that they can archive your profile, whatever that situation is. You want to make sure your loved ones or the people that you've appointed to help you with all your platforms are there. And I'm going to backtrack a little, but I would also, if you do hear of a loved one passing away, or if you have a family member who's critically ill, or if something else was to occur, I would also make a template that you can copy and paste to just explain the situation at hand to families and why you would have to cancel and give refunds, etc., etc. So you want to be prepared for these circumstances. And I know it's something that nobody wants to talk about. Nobody wants to deal with. No online teacher wants to think, what's going to happen if I die? Or what am I going to do if I do hear of a loved one passing away, or someone getting really, really sick and I need to be by their side? we don't want to think about those sort of things. But this is something that I've learned with my 1-year anniversary coming up, is death is going to happen. And we have to be sure that we are mentally ready to take care of those sort of things right then and there. So that way, once everything is settled for that, you can properly grieve or take care of family members or whatever the circumstance is, that you don't have to worry about online teaching in that moment, but that you can focus on what's important in that moment. I know that was a rough conversation to have on the video, but here's the thing. If you have any questions for me about this topic, please leave a comment down below. All right, I would be happy to answer those questions and maybe share a little more in depth about my experiences and that sort of thing. So just let me know, and I will see you in the next video.